Flashback to the mission briefing. His mentor gives a thumbs up with a smile, but Cyan looks stressed holding the device. He thinks this is way too heavy for a first assignment. Back in reality, Cyan walks down the hall, lost in thought, when suddenly boom! An explosion rips through the floor, sending him flying backward in shock. As the dust settles, a shadow emerges from the rubble. A glowing-eyed monster steps out and demands to know, "Are you Cyan Vert?" Cyan barely has time to react before the blonde powerhouse pins him down. He sneers, boasting about his stats: magic 1 star, physical 5 stars. Pure dominance. The guy rips off his mask at Seth Shaharkin, a fellow freshman. Cyan is bewildered. This mountain of muscle is a first year? How did I miss him in my past life? Seth flexes, his aura flaring red. He knows about Cyan's feat slaying monsters, surviving a dragon, and he's itching for a fight. Fueled by jealousy over Cyan's S-Rank physical evaluation, Seth screams and launches himself forward, demanding a duel right now. Cyan stares at the emblem on Seth's chest and realization hits. That star symbol belongs to Spania, the nation in the heart of the desert. Legend says their army was invincible, led by a prodigy crown prince. But when he died, the entire powerful nation suddenly vanished from history. History said the prince died of a cold. Cyan realizes the truth. The legendary desert prince didn't die, he just turned into this muscle-brained maniac. While Seth screams about proving who the better man is, Cyan is internally panicking. He has a real mission to do, and no time for this nonsense. Cornered, Cyan plays the rulebook card. He puts on a serious face. No! We can't just fight. We need to file a formal application at the administration office. The musclehead actually buys it. Seth yells fine, and sprints toward the building like a bulldozer, leaving a cloud of dust behind. Cyan watches him disappear, and wipes the sweat from his brow. The office isn't even that way, but at least the distraction worked. Now time for the real mission. Scene shift to a lavish mansion. The philanthropist Zickerman listens, as a subordinate reports that the product is ready for delivery. Publicly, he's one of the continent's richest philanthropists. Privately, he barks orders to contact buyers, his greedy nature fully exposed. The dungeon is packed with demi-human slaves. Zickerman, the scum, announces with a twisted grin that today's top-tier product is ready for sale. Cyan, cloaked in shadow, infiltrates the mansion. He thinks it'll be easy, but pauses. His dagger glows purple as he senses a strange, powerful energy. Zickerman stares at a sleeping girl in a cage, looking at her like she's a pile of gold. He chuckles darkly. "Sleep well, my little moneymaker." Suddenly, a chill runs down Zickerman's spine. A pitch-black mist erupts from the shadows, engulfing the room in suffocating killing intent. Chaos erupts as Cyan drops from above. The slave trader scrambles back in terror, screaming for his guards to save him. No one can stop him. Cyan's eyes glow red as his dagger becomes a blur of crimson energy, slicing through defenses in an instant. It's a one-sided slaughter. Cyan reaps lives like the Grim Reaper, leaving the henchmen dead in pools of blood before they can even scream. The slave trader panics, screaming for his men. Cyan coldly tells him not to worry, he'll be sending him to join them shortly. Seeing his dead guards, the trader kneels and tries to buy his life. Cyan mocks him, replying that money is the one thing he has plenty of. Negotiations over. Without hesitation, Cyan drives his purple glowing blade through the man, silencing his begging for good. Looking at the tortured demi-humans in the cells, Cyan lists the crimes: human experiments, illegal slavery. Each one is a death sentence. Even while dying, the scum makes excuses, blaming the market for his crimes. Cyan stares him down, completely unmoved by the pathetic logic. Time's up. Tired of the excuses, Cyan unleashes black mist, blasting the scum into oblivion with a surge of dark energy. Job done, Cyan turns to leave but stops. He senses something strange: two distinct energies connected nearby. Following the energy, he finds a purple-haired girl lying in the rubble. Cyan approaches, realizing she's already lifeless. Just as Cyan turns to ignore her, Karam points out her hands. Even in death, she's tightly clutching a glowing egg. Back at the mansion, Cyan brings the egg home. Brian is confused, but Cyan casually claims he just picked it up on the road. Brian panics about dangerous monsters, but Cyan is confident. He crosses his arms and guarantees the thing will absolutely not hatch. No sooner does he speak than the pretty rock cracks. Brian freezes as the sound of breaking shell fills the room. Purple light explodes as the egg hatches rapidly. Cyan suddenly realizes he accidentally injected magic earlier. He breaks into a cold sweat, muttering a quiet oops. The hard shell shatters completely, releasing a burst of dark energy. This is definitely not an ordinary pet. Blinding light fills the room as a horned, pink-haired girl bursts out. Brian screams in terror, and even Cyan is left staring in shock. It's a dragon-human hybrid. Brian panics, asking what to do, while Cyan stares at the little troublemaker, sensing a massive headache coming on. Suddenly, the dragon girl beams, tackles Cyan, and yells "Papa!" Brian loses his mind, and the ruthless assassin is left completely speechless. Chaos erupts as the demon points at the girl in Cyan's arms, mocking him as a new dad. Cyan snaps, screaming at Karam for causing this mess. Rewind a bit. Cyan holds the glowing egg uneasy. Karam warns of the danger, but Cyan clings to the hope that it won't actually hatch. Karam confidently claims a motherless egg will never hatch. Suddenly crack. Cyan loses it, screaming at the spirit for being dead wrong. Back in class, Cyan stares at the sleeping pink-haired girl. She looks innocent, but her existence as a dragon hybrid is a ticking time bomb. It's no joke. Cyan knows she's not just a hybrid, she's half-dragon. The sheer power hidden within her makes the air heavy with dread. The warning is stark. The world won't accept her. If found out, the Academy will execute her for safety, and dragons will hunt her for purity. It's a death sentence. Cyan stares at the sleeping girl, his gaze turning cold. Since she's destined for a life of pain, wouldn't ending it now be an act of mercy? Killer instincts take over. Better a quick death than a lifetime of suffering. Cyan reaches for his weapon, killing intent rising in his eyes. Just as Cyan steels himself to strike, the girl opens her teary eyes, looks straight at him, and softly whimpers, "Papa?" That single word shatters his resolve. The killing intent vanishes instantly, as he pulls the trembling girl into a tight embrace, choosing to protect her instead. Warmth spreads through him, leaving him stunned. Looking at her peaceful, sleeping face, the cold-blooded assassin feels something entirely new, a strange warmth in his chest. Resigned but content. Watching the little one giggle on the floor, Cyan sighs and announces to Karam, "We're keeping her. We'll raise her." Scene shift to Vert Castle. While Cyan is settling in, his sister Alice is a nervous wreck, pacing the hall in panic, not knowing what to do. She's seething, worried Cyan will hurt Krantz. Suddenly, she runs into her older brother Askel. Startled, she can barely hide her panic. Askel plays the caring brother, but Alice stammers and flees. The moment she's gone, his face turns ice cold as he demands a status report from his subordinate. The spy, Kellen, reports, "Knight's dead, the survivor is with Cyan." And the mastermind behind the attack? Just as expected, Lady Margaret. But the informant is gone. Askel snaps, ignoring the rest. "So after all this, you still found out absolutely nothing about my brother Cyan?" Seeing the disappointment in his master's eyes, Kellen panics. Desperate to keep his rank, he vows to go personally and uncover Cyan's secrets. Askel looks down at his groveling subordinate and coldly agrees. "Go. My brother is definitely hiding something. Find out what it is." Orders received, Kellen sprints down the hallway. He knows this is his last chance, failure is not an option. Before he can catch his breath, the terrifying instructor Sarika appears, staring at the baby in his arms in total confusion. "Why is there an infant here?" Cyan tries to explain, but Sarika cuts him off. Adjusting her glasses with a sharp glint in her eyes, she warns, "Save the baby talk. You've caused a much bigger problem." She slams a stamped dual application into his face, seething with rage. "I told you to keep a low profile, and now you've started a spectacle the principal himself is attending." Cyan is surprised the big guy moves so fast. Before he can process it, Sarika drops the deadline. "Stop talking. The duel starts in 2 hours." Cut to the arena. Cyan looks annoyed by the spectacle, while the desert prince Seth is absolutely manic, laughing at the sky, itching to tear Cyan apart. Gripping his massive sword, Seth taunts Cyan, daring him not to use magic. Cyan exhales, his gaze icy cold. "If you want a sword fight, I'll give you one." Seth instantly brings his heavy blade crashing down, shattering the ground. Instead of flinching, Cyan smirks, looking at him like a predator eyeing its prey. The impact sends sparks flying. Blocking the heavy blow, Cyan analyzes instantly. The guy is shockingly fast for his size, but his attacks are too predictable. Seth leaps for another crushing blow, banking on brute strength. Cyan blocks steadily, knowing the truth. Against a brute like this, you don't use force, you use precision. The moment Seth's momentum fades, Cyan blurs into a streak of blue lightning. His short sword strikes like a viper, turning defense into a lethal offense. Seth is horrified to realize Cyan is using his own downward force against him. A slender blade has completely pinned him down, and cold sweat starts to pour. Cyan leaps into the air and slashes, a blue arc cutting through the sky. Seth stumbles backward, barely dodging the fatal blow, but reeling from the shockwave. The attacks come in a relentless tide, giving Seth no room to breathe. Every clash of blade shakes the big man to his core. Before Seth can regain his balance, a chill runs down his spine. He whips around in terror to find Cyan already behind him like a ghost. Does this guy have eyes in the back of his head? Promotional page. Chapter 22 ends here. The intense battle continues. Promotional page. Please continue to the next chapter. The tables have turned completely. Cyan looks down with overwhelming killing intent, while Seth, once so arrogant, is left clawing at the rubble in agony. He shows no mercy. Cyan's eyes flash crimson as he gathers every ounce of his strength, preparing the finishing blow. A brutal kick sends Seth flying, but even as he lands the hit, Cyan is impressed. The guy actually reacted. His durability is absolutely monstrous. The spectators in the classroom are absolutely stunned, jaws dropped in disbelief at what they're seeing. The hooded observer questions if he's even human. On the platform, Cyan kneels, gasping for air, while Seth trembles violently, clutching his chest in pain. Sharp cracking sounds echo through the air as the surrounding structure begins to give way under their destructive power. Seth ditches his sword, erupting in golden light and screaming about winning at all costs. Cyan just looks resigned, finding this guy more annoying than scary. Seth stomps the ground with enough force to shatter the stone, launching himself forward like a cannonball. He charges through the blast wave, eyes glowing and face twisted in a manic grin, screaming Cyan's name in a bloodthirsty rage. The headmaster strokes his beard, impressed they fought this hard without magic. The instructor beside him calls it. Cyan won the sword exchange. Cyan's physical stats are a terrifying rank S. But to the judges, physical strength is just the baseline for wielding high-level magic. Here's the kicker. Seth holds a 3-star mana rank, the highest among all new students. That's his real weapon. Seth uses his magic advantage to mock Cyan, asking if he's just an attention seeker, before unleashing a barrage of attacks. Seth's fist glows with blinding magical energy. If swordplay won't work, he'll crush him with magic. Explosions chain together as Seth attacks like a rabid beast, giving Cyan no room to breathe. Don't you dare run. His signature move Desert Fawn erupts. The massive shockwave blasts Cyan away, leaving Seth kneeling from the exertion. As the smoke clears, Cyan lands without a scratch. He stares coldly, calculating. 3-star mana, is that it? Standing amidst the rubble, Cyan calmly analyzes the threat, Seth used 4-star magic, and the instructor's barrier is about to fail. The Sand Prince screams in frustration. "Stop dodging like a rat!" Cyan shoots back a mocking look. "You expect me to just take it? Grow up!" Seth snaps and unleashes a massive sand storm. The instructor gasps in disbelief. A student casting 4-star magic is unheard of. A tsunami of sand crashes down. Seth thinks he's won, screaming that it's unavoidable, but Cyan stands his ground, unfazed. Facing the destructive wave, Cyan doesn't flinch. He cracks a confident grin. "Fine. I'll take this head on." Watching his opponent throw a tantrum, Cyan's mind drifts back to his past life, expertly preparing baby formula like a seasoned parent. Surrounded by chaotic siblings in his memories, he realizes he's always been an expert at handling unruly brats. He handled a gluttonous dragon princess without breaking a sweat. Compared to her, this overgrown child throwing magic around is nothing. The memory fades. Nana stands barefoot, seemingly waiting to see how her father handles this mess. Back in reality, the barrier fractures under the pressure. Instructors scream in panic. "Reinforce it! It's going to shatter!" The barrier mage grits his teeth, veins popping as he pours every ounce of mana into holding the line. Chaos erupts in the stands. While everyone calls to stop the fight, the dean remains eerily calm, raising a hand. "Wait!" Cyan stops playing and unleashes a dark, void sphere. The instructor screams in terror, recognizing the forbidden level of power. Void meets sand. Purple lightning tears through the golden storm in a catastrophic explosion. Seth gets blasted away like a ragdoll. The dean laughs heartily. "He surprises me every time!" while the others stare in absolute horror. In the darkness, a mysterious purple rune flickers wildly, gathering devastating energy for a single burst. Boom! With a single strike, Seth's sandstorm magic crumbles. The students watch in shock, unable to comprehend what just happened. Some are so shaken they can barely stand, clinging to their friends. "Magic like that is unheard of." It's over. Seth covers his face and surrenders, but Cyan looks incredulous. "Oh? You're giving up just like that?" The once arrogant desert prince now kneels in the rubble, his pride completely shattered by this battle. Cyan actually feels bad for the total crush, but mocks him anyway. "Great! I was getting tired of playing with weaklings." The insult stings. Seth clenches his fist until it bleeds, turning his humiliation into fuel for training. Seth isn't broken. He vows to fight again. Cyan gives a cold smile and accepts the challenge. They shake hands out of mutual respect. Cyan turns down Seth's offer, but the scene alone leaves the spectator stunned. Back at the dorm, the mood shifts. Nana, the dragon baby, rushes in shouting, "Papa!" She's grown way too fast. Big problem. She looks 6 years old now. Brian the butler sighs in distress. How are they supposed to hide her? Instructor Serica arrives, furious about Cyan's flashy fight. Now she has the headache of hiding a dragon child. Promotional page for the comic platform. Story paused. Promotional page for the comic platform. Story paused. Back to business. Serica warns Cyan, hiding a demon sword is one thing, but hiding a dragonborn after his flashy stunt is nearly impossible. Suddenly, the lazy woman on the couch, the spirit of the demon sword Kirim, opens her eyes, hearing her name. Watching Nana play, even Serica feels a chill. "That gross speed, it's practically monstrous." Cyan calmly explains he set up a barrier. As for babysitting, that job goes to the terrified Brian. Cyan then pulls out a red envelope. He thought it was a reward, but it turns out to be a letter of warning from the family. Serica coldly warns him not to lose his favor. Cyan waves the letter, a dangerous chill flashing through his eyes. Sion reads a letter claiming they're being kicked out for poor behavior. The little pink-haired demon panics instantly, terrified they'll end up living on the streets. Sion wonders where she learned such foul language, but gently pats her head. He reassures the panicked child, promising her that they aren't going anywhere just yet. Sion's gaze turns cold as he realizes the letter came directly from the Chancellor. This isn't an expulsion notice. It's a personal invitation for a confrontation. This triggers a memory of his father looking down on him, asking if he really intended to join the Knights of Light and live his whole life for his perfect brother's sake. The old Duke's warning echoes in his mind. That path leads only to misery. No matter how hard he tries, it holds no benefit for him, only suffering. It felt like being a puppet on strings. In his past life, he ended up exactly as predicted, resenting his shining brother while living in the shadows. Back in reality, the butler insists the child needs a real name. Sion looks at the little girl and decides on the spot, Nana. The butler worries it's too casual, but Nana loves it. She jumps for joy, declaring herself Nana Vert, determined to share her papa's family name. Sion is confused about how she knows his surname, but pushes it aside. The Chancellor has sent an invitation, so he heads straight for the heart of the academy. Inside the Grand Chancellor's office, an imposing old man signs a document with the name Sion Vert. The atmosphere is heavy with anticipation. The Chancellor recalls Sion's terrifying talent, swallowing a 4-star attack with simple 1-star magic. He knows he needs to test this freshman properly. He suspects Sion is still holding back. Sitting behind his desk, the old man waits, eager to see just where the boy's true limits lie. This is Kundal Quizzle, master to the current emperor, and one of the few 9-star mages on the continent. A true heavyweight. Sion sprints down the hallway with one question in mind. Why did this pacifist mage get involved in the bloody throne war in his past life? Before he even reaches the door, Sion feels the pressure. He smirks. The old man's nasty attitude hasn't changed a bit since the past life. Knowing it's a trap, Sion doesn't hesitate. He grins, charging his fist with golden mana, ready to knock politely with force. The door is sealed with a 9-star barrier, a brutal test. Sion isn't intimidated. If it's a test the old man wants, he'll play along. Kundal thinks the barrier is impenetrable for a student. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the room, but Sion doesn't break the door, he breaks the rules. Glass shatters everywhere as Sion smashes through the window, completely bypassing the door. He lands amidst the debris, greeting the shocked Chancellor with a grin. Kundal shields his face from the shards. Staring at the chaotic entrance, he has to admit defeat. The kid totally outplayed him. Sion calls the bluff immediately. Pointing at the letter, he sneers. That warning was just an excuse. The barrier outside gave it away. The Chancellor admits it was a test, but refuses to withdraw the warning. Sion doesn't flinch, challenging him with a cold stare. Then convince me. Sion turns the tables with a lethal question. Do you care about the Empire's prosperity or your family's honor? The old man is stunned. The old fox claims he cares for neither. Sion presses on. So even if the Emperor dies and the princes tear each other apart, you'll just watch? The Chancellor snaps, calling him impudent. Sion cuts deep. I won't be a puppet, and neither were you. Don't act like you're any different. In the past life, this old man helped put the first prince on the throne, a tyrant who slaughtered his own brothers without mercy. By the time he tried to object, he was executed for treason. Sion slams his fist on the desk at the memory. What a waste! The Chancellor roars that peace won't crumble. Sion coldly cuts him off. Really? The Empress's family is already hungry for power. Staring at the crest, Sion states the grim truth. They'll do anything to keep power. The Empire's peace is already hanging by a thread. When it falls, this academy falls too. The Chancellor breaks into a cold sweat, realizing this 11-year-old sees everything. Sion lowers his weapon and offers a deal. I'll save your clan and the academy. In return, you withdraw that warning letter. Before the old man can react, Sion chuckles. A massive golden magic circle erupts beneath him, filling the room with raw power. The Chancellor strikes back instantly. Don't get arrogant! Golden chains burst from the ground, binding Sion tight. Trapped in the chains, Sion just grins like a maniac. So you want to fight? Now we're talking. Bound again? Cyan grits his teeth and flexes, his raw power straining the golden chains until they start to crack. Cyan taunts him while struggling. Is this another test? The Chancellor scoffs. Don't bother. You can't escape my 9-star chains. Is that so? Watch closely then. A sinister purple aura explodes from Cyan, wiping the smug look right off the Chancellor's face. The purple mana devours the chains like a beast. The old man is stunned. Impossible. He's just a 1-star novice. Panic sets in as the Chancellor realizes the truth. His hands tremble. He's devouring my magic. What kind of monster is he? With a deafening boom, the chains shatter. Staring into those glowing purple eyes, the Chancellor thinks, does this boy have no limits? The purple vortex fades, leaving Cyan panting on the floor. Floating above, the old man finally relents. Very good. Warning withdrawn. He survived the test. When asked what he truly wants, Cyan smirks. I just want a peaceful school life. A lie, of course. His inner voice vows to save the academy from its impending doom. Scene change. The town is bathed in an orange sunset. But beneath this peaceful evening glow, danger is quietly creeping in. Brian, the big softy, grins while clutching a bag full of sweets. Nana is going to love this. He's fully in doting dad mode. Brian is still daydreaming about happy Nana, but Cyan's expression shifts. His eyes turn cold and sharp, a hunter sensing a threat. The warm vibe vanishes instantly. Brian spins around, barking into the darkness. Come out. Within the shadows, a pair of feet land silently. The air turns heavy. You? Before Brian can react, a boot slams into the bag. Sweets scatter across the street. The gift for Nana is ruined in a split second. Back at the academy, Cyan is dying of boredom. He's a master assassin in a kid's body, forced to sit through basic lessons. It's absolute torture. Can't take it anymore. Cyan tries to sneak out for some air, but the moment he opens the door, busted. Princess Erin is right behind him. Where do you think you're going? Cyan tries a lame excuse. Bathroom break. Erin calls his bluff immediately. Liar. The bathroom isn't that way. Her entourage panics over her lack of royal dignity. Cyan tries to play it cool. Why so formal? Aren't we friends? Bad move. Erin snaps. I'm a princess. You're a commoner. We can't be friends. Before Cyan can retort, heavy footsteps echo down the hall. Erin's face shifts from anger to pure terror. She recognizes that sound. Two imposing figures descend the stairs. The white-haired one speaks coldly. Long time no see, Erin. It's her brothers, the imperial princes have arrived. The fierce princess from seconds ago is gone. Erin shrinks back, trembling and bowing her head. Greetings, brothers. Her fear is visceral and absolute. The princes look down with pure disgust. Hanging out with lowlifes now? Cyan watches silently. They aren't looking at family. They're looking at trash. Cyan calmly introduces himself. Cyan of House Vert. Hearing the name Vert, the prince's attitude flips instantly. Oh! The Duke's child? Power recognizes power. They smile and pat Cyan's shoulder. Let's not be strangers. Then they turn to Erin with dead eyes. But not you. The exclusion is brutal and deliberate. Before leaving, one prince grabs Erin's chin, whispering a venomous threat. Know your place. Princess. The humiliation is suffocating. Once they're gone, Erin tries to cope. They're still family, blood ties matter. Cyan cuts her off brutally. Wake up. In their eyes, you're lower than a stranger. Cyan stares into her shocked eyes and delivers the cold truth. When it comes to power, blood means nothing. Welcome to the brutal reality of royalty. Princess Erin acts tough to defend him, then immediately runs away blushing, leaving the bystander completely confused. Back in the bedroom, Cyan wakes up to find his servant Brian missing, a bad feeling instantly settling in his gut. Sensing danger, he immediately summons the spirit Kairam and orders him to track down Brian's location. While the spirit complains about being treated like a dog, Cyan's expression darkens. He smells blood. The scene shifts to Brian getting kicked across the room and crashing to the floor, surrounded by watching thugs. The blonde noble, Barrett, stands over him with a sneer, threatening to carve him up piece by piece. The psychopath isn't just torturing him. He threatens to chop Brian up and send the pieces to Cyan as a gift. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts drastically, and the once arrogant thugs start trembling in fear at what approaches. Oblivious to the danger, Barrett thinks his victim has gone mad with fear and continues his cruel mockery. Completely unaware of his fate, he coldly orders his men to kill the target immediately. Illuminated by fire, Barrett laughs arrogantly, thinking his enemies are just walking into a death trap. In an instant, the cloaked figure erupts with power, blasting everyone away and wiping the smile right off Barrett's face. Cyan lowers his hood, surveys the carnage, and coldly calls out his enemy's name with murderous intent. Instead of running, Barrett excitedly screams that he's going to carve out Cyan's insides like a total lunatic. Cyan doesn't waste words. He swings his demon sword, and purple energy slices through the mercenaries like butter. Seeing his expensive mercenaries wiped out in a blink, Barrett finally panics, eyes wide with total shock. Faced with such overwhelming power, he screams into the rain. What kind of monster is this? He tries to counter with fire magic, but Cyan blasts him away before he can even finish the spell. Cyan walks over calmly, looks down at the bleeding noble in the rubble, and coldly asks if he enjoys torturing the weak. Even facing death, Barrett remains defiant, betting his family name will save him from being killed. This is the making of a monster. The blonde noble started young, treating servants like trash just for fun. It escalated to murder. He killed a classmate for practice, forcing the miss to step in for a cleanup. His dungeon was a graveyard. He smiled through the torture, feeding on their pain and desperation. To Serica, death is too easy for a monster like this. It's hardly a punishment at all. Back in reality, Cyan wastes no words. He chokes the life out of him, purple energy exploding on impact. Gasping for air, the blonde plays the status card. I am Barrett, the future successor. You can't touch me. Cyan shuts him up with a brutal punch, smashing his words and his face into silence. Insult me all you want, but you touched my people. This punch is personal, fueled by cold rage. The spy on the roof is terrified. This isn't a weak lord, it's a monster. He has to report this immediately. Before he can run, Serica's blade is at his throat. So, you're the rat following my student. The spy cowers on the ground, begging Cyan for mercy. My lord, I had no idea you were this strong. Cyan stares down at the pathetic creature. This is your idea of loyalty? Just plain stupidity. Don't throw your life away for meaningless loyalty. It just pisses me off. His aura crushes the spy's spirit. Done with the dog, Cyan calls out to the shadows. Show's over. You can come out now, leader. Serica steps out, eyeing the bound spy with a smirk. Quite the thoughtful gift you've prepared. She has to admit it, this kid's skill and ruthlessness exceed anyone in the mist. He's ready for the big leagues. You've proved your worth as successor, but try to be a bit more subtle next time, will you? Cyan's eyes still glow red. I refuse to be a victim. Anyone who hurts my people will wish they were never born. Serica likes that ruthless protective streak. Fine. I'll handle the cleanup. The rest is yours. Cyan turns to his prisoner with a demonic grin. Kill you? That would be too easy. Let's have some fun. Kellen screams in denial, sweat flying, but Cyan remains icy cold. He reveals he knows exactly who Kellen serves, recalling the twisted bond between the brothers. Cyan recalls Askel's jealousy with a cold smirk. Realizing Kellen is the perfect leverage, he reaches out, ready to make his move. Cyan considers killing him but stops. Why waste a resource? Purple energy ignites at his fingertips. He decides to use Kellen against his own master. Kellen stares in horror as Cyan unleashes creation, Soul of Shadow. There's no time to beg before the dark magic swallows the room whole. The purple storm slams into Kellen, tearing him apart. The shockwave isn't just physical damage, it's rewriting his very soul. A guttural scream echoes in the darkness. Kellen's will shatters completely under the overwhelming power of the forced rewriting. Cut to a bright, sunny day. Leaving the shadows behind, Cyan is back on the training grounds, sharpening his skills with a blade. Sparks fly as Princess Erin attacks without mercy. She knocks Cyan back, demanding he do better with a fierce strike. Erin claims victory, but when Cyan calls her Your Highness, her mood sours. She sharply reminds him, use her name in private. After getting scolded, Cyan stands beside Erin. They watch the brutal training happening on the other side of the field. Brian is taking a beating. Despite being a commoner, his endurance is shocking. He hits the ground hard but refuses to stay down. Cyan tests Brian himself, throwing a punch that kicks up dust. Seeing Brian panting but eager to continue, Cyan is impressed by his grit. Bruised and bleeding, Brian's worry isn't for himself. He hesitantly asks Cyan, is that guy, Kellen, really safe to keep around? Cyan assures him Kellen is on their side, but the memory of Kellen's agonizing scream as the magic took hold flashes through his mind. Back in the warehouse, Cyan had used his control arts. Watching Kellen twist in the purple light terrified even Brian, who was watching from the shadows. The ritual ends as Cyan cuts the ropes. With the magic fading, he asks the shadowed figure one crucial question, now, who are you? Kellen kneels, eyes glowing purple. He mechanically confesses his mission to spy on Cyan. Cyan smiles. The conditioning worked perfectly. The knight who served Askell has turned. Cyan gives his first order, return to Valia's and continue playing the loyal servant. Cyan commands him to report everything back to his master. Kellen bows his head in absolute submission, a perfect double agent. Recall fading, Cyan shudders at that terrifying loyalty. Back in the present, Erin's surprise at a visitor snaps him out of his thoughts. Princess Erin is training hard, fueled by last week's incident. Cyan asks about it, but he already knows the grim truth behind the attack on Barrett. A nightmare in the rain. Barrett was left beaten and broken, unable to name his attacker. Worst of all, his magic is gone forever. The memory of that night haunts him. A girl's desperate scream for her daddy cuts through his mind like a knife. Suddenly, a figure drops from the sky. Cyan looks up in panic. It's Nana. That useless sword spirit fell asleep on babysitting duty. Erin catches the child, only to hear a cheerful daddy. Her expression instantly shifts from shock to a deadly, icy glare. Huge misunderstanding. Erin demands to know when and with whom Cyan had a child. Cyan is utterly confused, staring at this sudden mess. Cleared up. Erin laughs with sheer relief in the sunset. As long as it's not Cyan's biological daughter, the world is right again. The danger isn't over. Nana's dragon identity is a ticking bomb. Surprisingly, Erin smiles warmly, becoming their ally instead of reporting them. Secret alliance formed. They swear to take this to the grave. Watching Nana's cheeks get squished, the tension melts into a heartwarming moment. Erin looks at the parentless Nana with deep sympathy. The child may be a dangerous secret, but she's also just a pitiful, lonely little girl. A half-dragon belongs nowhere. Cyan seizes the moment. So, you wouldn't mind if I visit your dorm to check on her? Smooth move. Erin blushes furiously. Don't get the wrong idea. It's just for Nana. But her whispered it's our secret betrays her racing heart. The moment Cyan leaves, Erin clutches her chest. That phrase, our secret, has sent her heart into overdrive. She's completely smitten. Erin is still savoring the moment when Cyan pops back up with a smirk, seemingly seeing right through her flustered thoughts. Cut to the culprit Kiram. The sword spirit makes excuses for losing the kid. Cyan is furious, while Brian has officially become the nanny. Nana is safe, so Cyan switches back to assassin mode. The plan is set. Two shadows launch into the night sky. The mission begins. Ambush in the sky. The silver-haired figure looks on in shock. A powerful enemy is closing in, and the air reeks of killing intent. Trouble is coming. The winged intruders are nearing the academy. The red-haired woman's eyes are sharp. She smells prey nearby. Suddenly, the silver-haired leader freezes. He senses something terrifying, a presence that simply should not exist in this world. Deep night, a winding mountain path. Danger lurks in the shadows as Cyan's journey of revenge steps further into the darkness. Under the desolate night sky, Brian panics as he chases after Nana, who's happily rolling around. Cyan watches calmly from a distance, calculating their position. Nana laughs purely. The little demon teases Cyan about being a total dad and suggests he needs a mom for her, maybe the princess? Cyan actually blushes. The mood shifts instantly. Cyan senses a threat. His eyes glow blue with a cold sneer. Something disgusting is coming. Brian screams in terror, but Cyan is already moving. A massive cascade of blue energy crushes the enemy, while Brian frantically checks on Nana. Brian shields Nana with his body. Cyan arrives, relieves they're safe, and immediately steps in front to protect them. Stay behind me. The sky tears apart as two terrifying figures descend, a red dragon and a silver dragon. Why are two high-level monsters here at the same time? Lucian, the silver dragon, looks at sleeping Nana with pure disgust, calling her a repulsive half-breed. Brian holds her tight, grimacing in pain. The red dragon looks down on Cyan, mocking his impure blood and the demon's sword. Cyan frowns, annoyed at being objectified like this. The red dragon is scolding her servant when she suddenly flinches. A lethal threat spikes in the air, making her scream, "How dare you!" The silver dragon demands the half-breed, claiming no interest in humans. Brian trembles but holds Nana tighter, refusing to budge. They want to experiment on her? The dragon offers a merciful deal, but Brian snaps, screaming right in his face, "Go to hell!" The dragon freezes, stunned by the audacity. Brian, eyes bloodshot with rage, doubles down. "I said, go to hell, you lizard piece of sh*t. The dragon chuckles darkly, then blasts him. Blue energy explodes, sending Brian flying as the ground cracks open beneath the impact. As Brian gets blown back, Cyan steps in, calm and collected. He orders Brian to take Nana and run, taking control of the battlefield. Cyan draws his blade. Misstyle 9th form. A massive surge of demonic blue energy erupts, forcing even the dragon to acknowledge his skill. He's not done. Red lightning crackles around Cyan. The dragon's expressions change instantly. They recognize the forbidden power of exile. The silver dragon sneers, still just a human. But a split second later, boom. A massive impact sends him reeling, eyes wide with shock. That hit enraged the dragon. His face twists, ice magic exploding around him. He drops the axe and roars, vowing to crush this pest. The dragon stops holding back. A devastating blue shockwave swallows the sky, blasting his opponent away with overwhelming force. The figure is hurled through the night sky. The dragon glows with lethal power, proving that in a clash of strength, he still dominates. Cyan wastes no time, unleashing rushing mist storm and blasting the redhead backward with a shockwave. The dragon woman reacts instantly, deploying a fire barrier while screaming for her ally to fall back. She's dangerously overconfident, boasting that a mere human can never breach her ancient dragon barrier. Cyan's gaze turns ice cold as he charges up Mist's sword, 8 fluttering petals, ready to strike. The barrier shatters instantly under Cyan's strike, the explosive impact leaving the dragon woman completely stunned. Seizing the moment, Cyan closes in with serial double cuts, carving through her defenses as she screams in pain. Cyan unleashes his true power, unfurling black wings. The terrifying aura makes her tremble. "What are you?" Battered and bleeding, she can't comprehend his power. Cyan steps closer, coldly demanding her identity. Cyan smirks, realizing he doesn't need answers. He's already figured out her secret, polymorph. Cornered, The dragon woman gambles everything, releasing a massive burst of mana to break her human seal. Blue lightning tears through the sky as a massive dragon head emerges. She's reverting to her true form. A colossal dragon roars, unleashing a terrifying pressure, but this is exactly the moment Cyan was waiting for. Cyan strikes from above like a hawk. He knows a polymorph is most vulnerable the exact moment it reverts. The dragon panics, shocked that a human knows their fatal weakness, but it's too late to react. A violet beam pierces the dragon's skull. It shrieks in agony, desperate to flee, but its body is failing. Cyan shows no mercy, delivering the final blow with Mist Sword, unshakable roots to end its life. A massive shadow consumes the battlefield. The desperate battle ends with Cyan's absolute victory. Watching from afar, Brian is stunned and quickly covers Nana's eyes, shielding her from the brutal sight. Cyan calmly slices off dragon meat for Brian. Nana begs for a bite, but Cyan snaps, absolutely not. Victory is theirs, but a new crisis looms. How long can they keep this secret? Under the cover of night, a conspiracy unravels. The reporter whispers nervously, their spies have vanished, wiped out by an invisible force protecting their target. The blonde leader frowns, frustration radiating from him. This isn't just an intel failure, it's like fighting a ghost. Their enemy is completely untraceable. He mentions Kellen, the spy, noting a drastic personality shift. The bald figure turned away finally reacts, sensing a crucial crack in the pattern. The scene shifts to Cyan in the hot seat. As the headmaster questions him, Cyan's gaze sharpens. He realizes instantly this isn't a chat, it's a test of loyalty. Cyan plays the perfect student, bowing respectfully. But hidden from view, a cold smirk curls on his lips. He sees right through the old man's game. Dismissed, Cyan walks out calmly. But internally, his guard is up. One wrong move, one slip of the tongue, and this dangerous game could end in disaster. Outside, his loyal knight Brian stands guard, ready for anything. But as he opens the door, he freezes. There's an unexpected visitor waiting inside. It's Emily, the maid. Brian tenses up, demanding to know why she's here, before realizing his master summoned her personally for a secret task. Back in his room, Cyan wears a mysterious smile. He places a hand on Emily's shoulder, his request sounding polite, but carrying an undeniable weight. Emily stands frozen, eyes wide in shock. She never expected a request like that from her master. It completely catches her off guard. Meanwhile, chaos reigns elsewhere. Shattered crystals signal a disaster. 2 powerful dragons have gone missing, their life signals completely vanished. Staring at the dull mana stones, the investigators realize the truth. To wipe the scene this clean, the killer must possess the rare darkness element. Suspicions initially turn to the Archmage Kundal, but the elements don't match. That means a third, unknown monster is out there, lurking in the shadows. Finally, a name is whispered in the dark. Cyanvert, the sole possessor of the darkness element, and a survivor of the dragon attack. Connecting the dots, the conspirators realize their test subjects all died around Cyan. It's too consistent to be a coincidence. He's cleaning house. From the shadows, the mastermind makes a move. If they can't read him, they'll watch him. He orders his granddaughter, Lenov, to be sent to Cyan's side. Back at the dorms, the mood lightens instantly. Princess Erin arrives with a special cake from the palace, her face beaming with excitement. Nana devours the cake, cream smudged all over her face, shouting her love for the treat. Cyan watches the wholesome scene, his guard momentarily dropping. But the peace is fragile. Watching innocent Nana, Cyan calculates his next move. If the dragons discover her, they will come for her. He must stay hidden. His eyes turn cold, murderous intent flooding back. He lives for himself now, and he will crush anyone who plots against him. Erin blinks, confused by his sudden intensity. Cyan cracks a rare smile. Must be good news, or perhaps a perfect plan has just popped into his mind. Scene shift to Askel sharing a drink with Prince Ruel. Beneath the polite small talk, tension clearly simmers. The prince confidently credits the emperor, but Askell just offers a meaningful smile, his eyes calculating and sharp. The conversation turns jagged. Askell cuts through the pretense. Are you worried about Elise, or afraid she'll become a threat to your position? The atmosphere freezes. Askell applies the pressure, his dominance leaving the prince stiff with unease. At the mention of Cyan, Askell's mask slips. The thought of father matching that useless brother with Princess Erin fills him with seething jealousy. They reach a cold consensus. The princess is just a useful pawn once she gathers power. A perfect match of ruthless ambition. Flashback to 2 years ago. The blonde man, Boris, whom Elise calls her Jim from the slums, offers her wine with a charming smile. Boris Wilhelm, Elise's hand-picked subordinate. With his introduction, 2 years pass in the blink of an eye. Back at the academy, Cyan's peaceful life shatters. One name makes everyone freeze. Demon's sister, Elise, has returned. Here she comes, whip in hand. The doting yet terrifying sister storms in, sending bystanders scrambling out of her way. Before Cyan can react, a familiar shadow blocks the light, looming over him with a suffocating presence. Did you enjoy your trip? Rewind slightly. Elise is reporting to her mentor. To get stronger, she actually ventured into the forbidden lands of Fruina. She survived a whole year in that hellhole just to find harmony, her eyes now burning with newfound resolve. Her mind made up, she drops the bombshell. I'll be joining the Knights of Light. The reason? To protect her timid little brother Cyan. The look on her face screams hopeless brother complex. Hearing Cyan and timid in the same sentence, the elder bursts out laughing, as if he's heard the joke of the year. Elise bristles instantly. Who dares mock her precious brother? She clenches her fists, ready to fight for his honor. Back in the present, to soothe the beast, Cyan summons his best acting skills and puts on a sweet face. I missed you, big sister. It works like a charm. Crisis averted. They walk together in the sun. Cyan might be sweating internally, but it looks heartwarming enough. Memory flashes back to years ago, bathed in sunlight. Cyan and Krantz could still laugh like real brothers. But Alice knew that was the calm before the storm. Back to the present, summer break is here. Everyone's packing to go home, but Cyan stands motionless until someone asks why he isn't leaving. Cyan forces a bitter smile, joking that nobody home welcomes him anyway. The blue-haired girl is stunned, but before she can respond, Cyan's gaze turns dark. He knows the score. The hypocrite Askell is there, the Duchess who wants him dead is waiting, and his father won't lift a finger. Going back now? That's suicide. Looking at the academy, Cyan is prepared never to return. When the girl innocently asks if he and Krantz are friends, he shuts it down instantly. Impossible. He grits his teeth and drops a bombshell. That guy tried to kill me. The blue-haired girl's pupils dilate in pure shock, unable to believe her ears. Suddenly, Brian steps out from the background, solemnly vouching for his master. The girl finally realizes this is a real guard knight. She covers her mouth, guilt-ridden over her ignorance. Cyan stays cool, crossing his arms to comfort her. The villains are that mother and son, not you. Suddenly, a fierce killing intent slices through the air. A terrifying silhouette flashes in Cyan's mind. He spins around, blurting out the name Alice. Cyan tries to dismiss the past, but a hand suddenly clamps onto his shoulder. Seems like someone hasn't reflected on their sins, they're looking for trouble. Before he can finish, she wraps her arms around him. Tears in her eyes, she begs him not to carry the burden alone, leaving Cyan completely flustered. Cyan makes a solemn vow, I will protect you. Mirroring a memory where a blonde boy once wiped away tears to say goodbye, a mix of reluctance and helplessness. Alice suddenly hugs Brian, nagging him to take care of my little Cyan. Brian is terrified because the master himself is staring daggers at him from behind. Sunset paints the sky red. The time for parting has come. As the carriage rolls away, Alice waves from afar, and Cyan silently raises his hand to see her off. Watching her leave, Cyan recalls his past life. Alice had that same look back then, the angriest he ever remembers seeing her. The memory shifts to that hellish training ground. Krantz skewers Cyan with his sword, standing over his trash brother and mocking him to get up for more. Krantz was a complete maniac back then, face twisted in glee. Cyan screamed in despair, begging for mercy, admitting defeat, but the cruelty in his brother's eyes didn't stop. Blow after blow rains down, each strike meant to cripple. Just as Cyan is about to be beaten to death, a furious roar explodes. "Stop, Krantz!" Krantz turns around and freezes its Alice. She's crackling with terrifying lightning, eyes full of murderous intent. "Apologize." "Right. Now." Back in the present, Cyan leans back, eyes dark with calculation. Since he's going to turn the Duke's house upside down anyway, she deserves to know the whole truth. Memories of the battlefield surface. The purple-haired mentor seems to have arranged everything, sending a mysterious red box to the young master, as if passing on a fateful destiny. Cyan looks at the item, knowing exactly what it is. It's either from the Academy or a greeting from those assassins. There's no hiding from this. That's not all. This red envelope with the Imperial seal is the main event. It seems the grand banquet is about to begin. It smells like a trap. The black card is an assassination order. Cyan's head throbs as the bloody memory of being forced to kill the Empress's brother at the banquet in his past life floods back. Though reluctant, Cyan has to go. He thinks of his mischievous mentor, cursing her for being annoying, but he has no choice but to play along. Brian, the serious knight, instantly turns into a gossiping fanboy upon hearing the letter is from Princess Erin, shouting, "It's a love letter," with a blushing face. Cyan, annoyed by the noise, uses the demon sword's pressure to shut him up. Just as he prepares to leave, the little dragon girl Nana wakes up, rubbing her eyes. "Papa, hungry." The sudden, terrifying pressure scares the subordinate out of his wits, while Cyan acts like nothing happened. Emily, the maid, stares wide-eyed, as if seeing a monster. In the blink of an eye, Nana has grown taller. Seeing this unnatural growth rate, everyone is dumbfounded. Dragon genetics are absolutely insane. Cut to the main hall, where the doors are violently slammed open. Alice, the brother-con sister everyone fears, has stormed back in a rage. Ignoring the servant's greetings, she searches with a menacing look, demanding, "Where is that witch? Oh no, the Duchess!" Duchess Margaret is leisurely reading when a sudden chill strikes her. Cold sweat soaks her back instantly. Danger is imminent. Seeing Alice rush in, Margaret immediately puts on the mask of a loving mother, opening her arms to stage a heartwarming reunion to fool her. But Alice doesn't buy it at all. She delivers a heavy blow straight to the Duchess's face, instantly shattering the fake image of motherly love. In the pouring rain, Alice goes completely berserk. Determined to get justice for Cyan, she attacks with lethal intent, not caring that her target is the Duchess. Servants scream and try to intervene, but are forced back by Alice's icy glare. She points her weapon straight at the Duchess's throat, her eyes filled with nothing but endless rage. Margaret panics completely, screaming internally, "How did she know I tried to kill Cyan?" But outwardly, she remains stubborn. "Do you have proof? Don't accuse me falsely." "Your reaction is all the proof I need," Alice sneers. Humiliated and furious, the Duchess screams at the guards. "What are you waiting for? Drag this lunatic out of here." The guards force themselves to surround her, trying to use numbers to suppress her. But Alice, fierce in her protection of her brother, isn't one to be trifled with. She sends one unlucky guard flying with a single kick. Since the mask is off, there's no need to hold back. Alice summons the water spirit Undine, and a violent torrent of blue energy sweeps through the hall, blasting away all enemies. Guards lie defeated on the floor as Cyan corners his wicked stepmother. Margaret recoils in terror as Cyan drops the bombshell. The guards confess she was the one who ordered his assassination 2 years ago. Margaret screams in denial, but Cyan shuts her down instantly. His eyes glow with magical power as he delivers a cold ultimatum. He's telling the Duke everything. It's over for her. Cyan walks away, leaving Margaret trembling with rage. Sweat drips down her face as she curses the Duke, a cold-hearted man who only cares about his precious child, Cyan. Scene shifts to Alice confronting the Duke. When he dismissively says he already knew, Alice explodes. Your own son was almost murdered, and that's all you have to say? The Duke stands by the window, scoffing at Brian, the knight who saved Cyan, calling him a laughingstock. To him, as long as Cyan is physically fine, nothing else matters. Alice freezes in shock upon hearing Cyan defeated the assassins himself. The Duke hands her a red letter, sneering, "You really don't know your own brother, do you?" The Duke tosses an invitation to the imperial banquet, ordering Alice to go in his place. He adds casually, "Don't worry about Cyan. That kid is stronger than you think." Alice walks out, letter in hand, mind racing. Her father's words haunt her. Cyan is only 13. How could he possibly be as powerful as the Duke implies? A voice calls out in the hallway. Alice spins around, eyes popping wide in disbelief at Cecilia, her missing mentor, standing right there. Cecilia lunges into a crushing bear hug. Tears flow as she scolds Alice for not writing a single letter, the emotion of their reunion spilling over. The embrace washes away the sorrow. Cecilia wipes her tears and pulls Alice along, claiming they need fresh air, but clearly, a new journey is about to begin. Cecilia waves the gold-stamped invitation triumphantly to the Imperial Palace. The carriage wheels roll, kicking up dust as they set off for the capital. Inside the carriage, Nana acts like an excited kid, screaming at the sight of a deer. Her excitement pops her dragon tail out, making Cyan panic and order her to hide it. With a strained face and a puff of magic, Nana hides her horns and tail. Cyan sighs in relief at her cute human form, but he knows she's a ticking time bomb. Cyan begs for discretion. Nana plays the elegant maid for 1 second, saying "young master," before instantly reverting to her hyperactive self, flailing wildly. Cyan face-bombs, sensing trouble. Just then, a commotion outside catches Brian's attention. He peers out the window, his expression tightening. Trouble's here. It's a bandit ambush. The thugs sneer, demanding loot. Cyan doesn't even step out. He glances from the window with cold boredom. Just insects. Get rid of them. Nana asks what's happening, but Cyan calmly covers her ears. Outside, Brian draws his blade, turning from a quiet night into a blur of deadly motion. Screaming for revenge, the bandit leader leads a swarm of thugs from above. They lunge at Brian with clubs and swords, intent on crushing the blonde knight. Brian's eyes sharpen. He unleashes multiple cuts, and the air fills with flashing steel. The bandits are sliced down in midair before they even know what hit them. In the forest, Brian stands over the defeated ambushers. He stares at his hand, realizing weak Brian is dead and gone. Meanwhile, a carriage speeds toward the capital. Inside, a hand picks up the guest list. The targets for the banquet are set. Inside, Alice, the doting sister, is plotting something big. Her aide worries it's too rushed, but Alice insists there's no room for debate. She points at the red-haired man's photo, calling him a predator who needs to die immediately. Her aide is shocked that's Alice's own fiancé. Alice freezes at the next page. A sickly child genius is on the guest list, boasting terrifyingly high magical stats. It's Linevrain River, who never shows her face. Alice senses something is wrong if such a reclusive genius is attending. The banquet is trouble. Alice gets a bad feeling. It's a trap. Meanwhile, the town below is festive and colorful, completely oblivious to the looming danger. On the street, Nana is happily looking around when she bumps into a blue-haired stranger. He snaps at her immediately, scaring her into an apology. Nana tries to apologize, but the guy suddenly smiles creepily upon seeing her face. Cyan steps in instantly, shouting, "Back off, you creep!" Cyan regrets not teaching Nana better, but Brian screams in panic. Cyan turns around and freezes. Nana's eyes have changed color. Trouble. Nana is too hungry. Her pupils slit, and purple dragon aura leaks out. If she's not fed now, her cover is blown. Cyan yells the order, and Brian slings Nana over his shoulder, sprinting for a restaurant. If she loses control here, the street is toast. After a whirlwind of eating, plates are stacked high. Nana is finally satisfied, while Cyan looks at the bill, realizing raising a dragon is expensive work. Before Cyan can relax, strange Mana approaches. He spins around to find the mysterious silver-haired girl standing right there. The silver-haired girl smiles innocently, but behind that expression, she's clearly hiding something that puts Cyan on edge. She looks down at Cyan and calls him by name. He sits still, but every muscle in his body tenses up instantly. Cyan plays dumb asking who she is, but she casually asks to join his table. Her friendliness only makes her more suspicious. She introduces herself as Lunav, a senior at his academy. Cyan freezes, he's heard that name before. She's no ordinary student. At the next table, Nana innocently asks if that's Papa's friend. Brian sweats bullets, that girl's vibe is off. She's definitely not just a friend. Lunav rests her chin on her hand, teasing Cyan about being affectionate. Cyan smiles awkwardly, wondering what her game is, and why she's getting so close. At the banquet, the silver-haired girl approaches with a calculating look. Cyan instantly gets suspicious and asks how she knew he was here. She playfully teases him about being a shut-in, implying she's investigated him. Cyan lowers his head, feeling the danger in her probing words. Cyan realizes with shock that she's nobility. He tries to end the conversation and leave, but the tension remains thick. Suddenly, a memory surfaces. She introduces herself as Lunav Rain River, seemingly regaining her lost self in that moment. Cyan is stunned by the name. She's the granddaughter of the Magic Council head. In his past life, she died prematurely at the academy. Recalling she likely died from experiments, Cyan feels a headache coming on. Another variable unknown to his past life has appeared. The scene shifts to the palace under a blood-red moon. The tragedy known as the Banquet of Blood is about to erupt tonight. Cut to Princess Erin, blushing furiously as she tries on a dress, nervously asking how she looks. The pink-haired attendant showers her with praise. Erin is mortified, feeling exposed under his intense, teasing gaze. Erin tries to change, but he stops her with a smirk, claiming Cyan would definitely love seeing her in that dress. Hearing Cyan's name, Erin explodes in a blush, stuttering wildly. A girl nearby snaps photos, teasing that her crush is painfully obvious. A maid arrives with a gift from Prince Ruinale ruby necklace. She stares at it in confusion, wondering why the scheming prince sent it. The white-haired girl hugs the box, eyes sparkling. The purple-haired guy panics, screaming that she's got the wrong idea entirely. Back at the banquet, Kellen stands amidst the crowd in his uniform. He ignores the festivities, scanning the room with cold, alert eyes. Feigning casual conversation with his partner, he scans the crowd. His sharp eyes are hunting for a specific target among the guests. He finds Cyan and whispers that Eshel has arrived. But more importantly, he grimly pleads with Cyan to leave the banquet immediately. Kellen worries about a leak. Cyan frowns, admitting he has a bad feeling everyone here is likely walking into a trap. Kellen drops a bombshell. Eshel told him to leave before a small commotion. Cyan realizes with horror Eshel is the mastermind behind the Banquet of Blood. Kellen only came back because he was worried about Cyan. Cyan, not wanting him involved, urges him to run for his life immediately. Alone in the shadows, Cyan's expression twists. Calling a massacre a small commotion? Rage boils over as he laughs at his brother's insanity. Facing the provocative question from within, Cyan simply smirks coldly. He couldn't care less about the innocent. He just finds the mastermind behind the impending chaos amusingly cute. Meanwhile, Serica, the leader of Mist undercover at the banquet, receives a sudden mind link. Her elegant noblewoman facade shifts instantly as the mission parameters change. Cyan lurks in the shadows like a ghost, informing Serica via mind link to delay the purification. Sarika holds her glass. Expressionless, she's already secured the intel. The intel is grim. This lavish banquet is about to become a bloodbath of demonic beasts. Sarika's tone turns urgent. She must locate the lurking monsters before the slaughter begins. Facing Sarika's doubt, Cyan's eyes glow red with grim certainty. He knows this style all too well. It's definitely the handiwork of his hypocritical brother, Askell. Before leaving, Cyan drops a snarky comment about Sarika's unwanted fiancé dying here. Just as she's about to explode, students recognize her, putting her in a tight spot. Before Sarika can react, a beautifully dressed Alice approaches with pure joy. Great, her cover as a former instructor is blown. Staying low profile is no longer an option. Sarika forces a smile for the innocent Alice, while internally, Alice is panicking. Shit, why is this powerhouse here? The situation just got infinitely more complicated. The two beauties become the center of attention, exactly what Alice didn't want. Brows furrowed, she now has to worry about the impending attack and how to keep Sarika out of the mess. Suddenly, an arrogant red-haired officer makes a grand entrance, introducing himself as Drenian. He wears a confident smirk, radiating an oppressive aura that screams trouble. Outside the hall, Cyan strides purposefully with his loyal knight, Brian. Since action is inevitable, there's no need to hide anymore. It's time to work. Brian gets overly fired up, shouting his loyalty at the top of his lungs. Cyan looks at him with pure disgust. This level of cringe is physically painful. 1 second Brian's bragging about his dragon blood strength, the next he's terrified of the dark underground aqueduct. The instant switch from tough to chicken leaves Cyan speechless. Just as Cyan is scolding Brian, the knight spins around in terror, pointing into the shadows. Killer intent. The danger is right behind them. An assassin with glowing eyes strikes from the dark. Brian is floored before he can react, but Cyan instantly shifts into combat mode, meeting the attack head-on. Dust settles. Cyan holds back the killing blow and stops Brian from retaliating. Looking at the woman on the ground, his gaze is complex. He knows her. The short-haired girl groans in pain on the floor. Cyan looks down with a hint of resignation. This reunion was a bit too intense. First impressions are definitely ruined. Meanwhile, in a gloomy underground tower, a mysterious hooded figure carries a torch up the spiral staircase, heading toward a door radiating an ominous light. The hooded figure smiles maliciously. With a single command, the ground cracks and green fell energy erupts. The time has come. The sleeping monsters are awakening. With a piercing roar, terrifying power explodes. In this moment, the curtain rises on the blood banquet, and true chaos descends. Inside the grand banquet hall, Princess Erin is fuming. She went through so much trouble to invite Sion, and he's a no-show. While she stews in anger, a suffocating pressure descends. A purple-haired figure approaches with an intimidating aura. It turns out to be an acquaintance from the academy. The noblewoman adjusts her dress, wearing a confident, sly smile. They exchange polite greetings, but the words are laced with venom. The woman acts like she owns the place, provoking Erin. Then she drops the bomb. I was with Sion just yesterday. Erin loses her composure instantly, shock written all over her face. Seizing the moment, she strikes. As I thought, you like Senior Sion, don't you? Erin blushes violently, her secret exposed. Erin tries to deny it, but before her embarrassed scream can fade, the atmosphere shifts from awkward to terrified. A scream pierces the hall. A guest is stabbed, and a grotesque monster with red eyes has breached the imperial palace. The stitch-faced monster ignores the panic. Reeking of blood, it growls out its target, Princess. Amidst the chaos, Sarika's eyes sharpen from the shadows. The real hunters have spotted their prey. Meanwhile, the maid Nana introduces herself elegantly, standing casually over the assassin she just knocked out cold. Nana glares at the unconscious girl, not with murderous intent, but pure jealousy. She's younger and prettier than me. Chaos erupts as Emily cries about being replaced, but Sion cuts through the drama. Did my brother Eshel send you? Nana giggles, thinking she's charmed him. Sion smiles darkly. Since you're here, why not work as my maid? Sion recalls the past. His snake of a brother, Askel, tried to manipulate lonely Emily while Sion was away. But Emily stayed loyal and rejected him flat out. That stubborn loyalty annoyed Askel then, and it exasperates Sion now. Back in the present, Sion realizes his brother hasn't given up. He orders Brian to guard the rear, his gaze sharpening. Rage boils over. Memories of the past mix with present schemes. Sion's eyes glow red. Don't mess with my people. Suddenly, Emily pulls out the gift Askel gave her, a red bow tie that's glowing ominously. The clumsy maid is upset she almost forgot it, unaware the bow tie in her hands is pulsing with dangerous magic. A sharp gaze cuts through the dark. The purple-haired mentor senses something wrong. In the distance, the majestic building stands silent, unaware of the sparks about to ignite. A gloved hand grips a crackling dagger. High above, Prince Rona watches with a cold smile, declaring that the chaos has finally begun. The conspirators are pleased their insider, Boris, has delivered the gifts. They justify the coming destruction as a necessary step to change the empire. The mastermind Askel reveals his true colors, eyes glowing blue as he draws his weapon. He intends to use this chaos to prove his worth to the empire. Back at the banquet, Princess Erin takes charge, shouting for evacuation. Guards beg her to flee, but she stubbornly refuses to leave her people behind. Lunav, the silver-haired mage, refuses to stay back and rushes to join the fight. Erin flashes a grateful smile amidst the chaos. Chaos erupts as guards clash with the monsters. But the situation is grim for every beast they repel. More swarm in from the shadows. Tragedy strikes. A monster ambushes a soldier from behind. The captain watches helplessly, screaming in despair as his subordinate falls. It's a massacre. Facing giant demonic beasts, the captain's spirit breaks. Surrounded by bodies, he realizes they might all die here tonight. Instructor Sarika steps up, unleashing powerful attacks to hold the beasts back. She screams at the students to run, buying them time with her own safety. An onlooker is stunned by her strength, disbelief written on his face. Sarika executes a hypersonic sword strike, slicing through the monster with blinding speed. Inspired by her lead, Lunav and other students hold the line. The commander regains his composure, ordering the guards to focus on escorting the civilians. Outside, the nightmare continues. The massive tree monster rampages through the city, leaving ruins in its wake. Sarika watches the devastation, the sky turning an ominous purple. Suddenly, the ground shakes. The girls realize with horror that the colossal vine monster is ignoring everyone else and charging straight toward them. Shockingly, the beast leaps right over them. The realization hits hard. The monsters aren't attacking randomly. They are hunting a specific target. Panic sets in as the truth is revealed. Sarika's eyes widen in terror. The monsters are ignoring everyone else to hunt down Princess Erin. Too late. An explosion rips through the air. The massive shockwave slams into Princess Erin and her guards, knocking them violently to the ground. Protect her! The desperate cry rings out, but Erin is already down, bleeding amidst the rubble. The situation has turned critical in an instant. A new threat dives from above, aiming a finishing blow. Despite the frantic screams to protect Princess Erin, the deadly strike descends upon the fallen royal. Chaos erupts instantly. The white-haired girl screams as her companion is launched into the air, blood spraying from a devastating impact. Despair sets in. She drops to her knees in the blood, shaking his motionless body, screaming for him to wake up. Guilt ignites into pure rage. Gritting her teeth through the tears, she channels every ounce of her magic for a desperate counterattack. A massive water vortex erupts. The sheer power stuns the onlookers. This is advanced magic, far beyond a student's level. Meanwhile, Sarika grabs the princess. The situation is critical. They have to run, now. The guards form a human wall against the rampaging vines, screaming for the princess to flee as they prepare for a suicide stand. Witnessing the sacrifice, the captain's armor glows with a sudden, blinding gold light. grief has awakened a new power. He deploys a magic barrier just in time, shouting a warning. The vines are deadly poisonous, one touch means death. The princess stops and turns back. With royal authority, she commands, "Do not die." That is an order. Her fear is gone. Morale skyrockets. The soldiers roar and charge the giant monster, swinging their blades with renewed fury. The captain lands a solid hit, but the monster is too fast. A massive vine whips around and smashes him back. He's sent flying, blood spraying everywhere. Just as the monster strikes again, a commanding voice screams, "Freeze!" A giant ice spike crashes down, impaling the beast. Alice Vert stomps onto the battlefield, instantly taking control. Seizing the opening, Sarika stops holding back. She becomes a purple blur, rushing straight at the monster with her sword drawn. She hesitates to reveal her true skills, but seeing the danger, she decides, screw it. She unleashes the secret mist sword technique. Purple energy explodes in the air, devastating the monster. The soldiers below watch in awe as she tears the enemy apart. But there's no time to rest. Sarika screams a warning, more enemies are lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. As they retreat, Sarika's mind races. That blue-haired girl leading the princess, she's definitely Cyan's sister. They don't get far before the floor explodes. Another massive rock monster blocks their path. It's one trap after another. Sarika grips her sword. It's clearly a setup, and now she has to fight her way out alone against this behemoth. Battle erupts. The silver-haired prodigy Lunav goes all out, dual-casting binding chains and fire spears in a dazzling display. The rock monster is instantly bound, then blasted in the face by a flaming spear. Even instructor Sarika is stunned. Seeing her students fight so hard, Sarika grits her teeth. As a mentor, she can't look weak, it's time to get serious. A terrifying stream of energy pierces the battlefield, tearing the monster apart in a blinding blue flash. The power is insane. As the dust settles, Luna stands proud amidst the ruins, declaring, "I am Luna Vert, the shield of the Empire." The battle rages on elsewhere as a massive water sword crashes down, fueled by rage, to crush the rock monster into dust. Room clear. Sarika scans the ruins, brow furrowed. These endless attacks are giving her a bad feeling. She inspects a body and freezes. It's not a living person, but a puppet stitched together from corpses. This is forbidden necromancy. Raising an army of corpse puppets requires insane mana. The mastermind behind this is a lunatic. Sarika realizes this isn't random. An attack of this scale isn't a solo act, it's a calculated move to start a war. Elsewhere, Cyan stands amidst the carnage, sword dripping. Panting, he's annoyed that he has to do this dirty work on the day of the banquet. Seeing Cyan collapse, his allies rush over in panic. But Cyan removes his mask with a reassuring smile. "Relax, just a bit tired." Cut to the palace, where Askel helps the seemingly weak Prince Lunel up. A silent, dark understanding passes between them. Knights swarm in to show loyalty, while Askel puts on a perfect performance, gently comforting the shaken prince. But the nightmare isn't over. More crystal monsters smash through the walls. Lunav grips her sword, realizing the enemy numbers are endless. A massive shadow looms over them. The girls look tiny against the beast. This is becoming a battle of attrition. Back at the estate, a gift arrives from Askel. Knight Brian stares at the red box, feeling an instinctive chill down his spine. Cyan knows his brother's malice. This is no gift. Before Brian can react, Nana screams, "Run!" The trap is sprung. Nana's eyes glow with an eerie gold light as her dragon instincts scream danger. She warns that something is coming, leaving Brian and the little girl frozen in confusion and fear. The wall explodes. Brian instantly shoves Emily back, screaming for her to run, just as a massive, hairy beast emerges from the rubble, bringing chaos with it. Chaos consumes the banquet. A massive shadow looms over the crowd as terrified nobles scatter like insects, marking the true beginning of the blood banquet. This bearded noble is losing his mind, sweating bullets as he flees. He thought he was fast enough, only to realize the main gates are also swarming with armored monsters. There's no way out. Cut to a dungeon where this man hangs precariously above a pile of bloody corpses. Gritting his teeth in terror, he swears to survive, driven only by the thought of seeing his maid, Lily, again. A black-haired maniac laughs hysterically at the thought of destroying Serica. Meanwhile, the bearded noble, trembling with a key in hand, desperately asks if the back exit is safe, getting a shaky yes from his subordinate. The maniac attacks. Screaming in rage, he dives from above with red energy crackling around him. The victim below only has time to scream Marquis Drenian before being crushed by the impact. The guards are surrounded and losing hope. Suddenly, a massive surge of water erupts from the ground. A powerful hydroblast wipes out the assassins in an instant. Reinforcements have arrived. At the command, the silver-haired mage Lunav unleashes a blizzard of ice shards, instantly freezing the monstrous enemies into statues. Everyone stares in disbelief at the instant victory. Stepping forward, the blonde knight proudly announces herself, Alice Vert. What a heroic entrance! The battle isn't over yet. Alice rushes to support Princess Erin. Even though the princess is worried about others, Alice grimaces through the pain, determined to stand her ground. There's no time to rest. Alice grimly warns that the next wave is imminent. Beside her, Lunav looks on with deep concern and sadness, knowing the danger isn't over. The knights scramble into formation. Shouts ring out to protect the highness and raise barriers for the nobles. Everyone braces themselves for the brutal fight ahead. Alice unleashes her ice magic again, but the monsters just keep coming. Despite her determination, she realizes with a sinking heart that this is an endless battle of attrition. It's like they know exactly where we are. Alice senses the enemies tracking them. With no time to lose, they power up again to face the relentless tide of monsters. Suddenly, the ceiling collapses. A massive boss-level monster crashes down. Brian shields Emily with his body, gritting his teeth as he faces a threat way above his pay grade. Facing the roaring beast, Brian finds a moment of clarity. He remembers his master's warning. With no one else to rely on, he realizes he must stand his ground and fight. Brian shields Emily, his back against the wall. Hearing her whisper, "I believe in you," all hesitation vanishes from his eyes. He grips his sword, ready to face the monster's strike. The monster swipes. The shockwave sends them flying. Brian thinks it's the end, but he looks up in shock. The monster has suddenly frozen in its tracks. Bruised and gasping for air, Brian reassures Emily he's okay. Suddenly, a calm voice cuts through the chaos. "Don't worry, I won't let him hurt you. Reinforcements have arrived." The blonde warrior sprints desperately with his wounded comrade, panic gripping him, as the monster's roar signals death closing in. A massive explosion of purple energy erupts. Everyone is frozen in shock, paralyzed by the sudden, overwhelming pressure. As the smoke clears, a winged demon figure stands amidst the ruins, causing the purple-haired woman to scream in sheer terror. Outside the castle, the full moon hangs over a city draped in eerie silence, broken only by distant, heavy impact sounds. A stitch-faced monstrosity is blasted away like a cannonball, tracing a pathetic arc through the air before crashing down with a bone-crushing thud. Chaos erupts in the rain as magic and blades clash violently, with every second teetering on the edge of life and death. The purple-haired leader grits her teeth, watching her knights tire, knowing they're all doomed without a new strategy immediately. Suddenly, a beam of purple light blows the stitched monster's head off. The woman stares in disbelief, shocked by the unseen, lethal attack. Seeing the undead puppet fall, it clicks these are black magic corpses, and their only weakness is the power of the light god. Light magic is the key to victory. All eyes instantly lock onto Princess Erin, guarded in the center. She is their only hope. The blue-haired swordsman begs for an enchantment. Erin hesitates, fearing for the barrier, but the knight's resolve gives her the courage to act. Erin casts the blessing. Feeling the holy power surge through the sword, the swordsman decides to forcefully merge it with spiritual magic, risking it all. The risk is immense, but she doesn't care. Elise grips the radiant sword, eyes burning with madness and resolve, ready to bet everything on this strike. This scene shows a recruitment page for the scanlation team, seeking translators and editors to keep the comic updates flowing. Meanwhile, Cyan studies the mask on the floor. This isn't just an assassination, it's a chess move orchestrated by his brother Askel, dripping with conspiracy. The pink flame spirit warns frantically that this place is a bloodbath, but Cyan remains calm, having already seen through the black magic tricks. Covered in blood, Cyan adjusts his suit and casually complains about the mess, his utter calm after the violence making the scene even more chilling. Back on the battlefield, desperate to win, Elise overdraws her mana to summon the legendary spirit King Marion. Everyone is terrified. It's clear she's risking her life. This unstable summoning could tear her body apart at any moment. The Spirit King looks down at the struggling girl, asking why she sacrifices so much. Elise, weak but firm, replies, "There was no other way." The Spirit Marion manifests, pitying the cruel fate awaiting the surrounded girl. Alice unleashes a devastating shockwave, blasting the enemies back with raw power. Enemies regenerate endlessly. Alice is exhausted but refuses to stop, fearing the worst. Cyan decides to intervene, activating the Spirit King authority to end the chaos. A terrifying aura descends, freezing everyone in shock as they search for the source. Alice stares at the masked figure, confused by his strange aura and the ominous black mist. Red mist crushes Alice instantly. She can't move, convinced she's being consumed. Alice prepares for the end, but surprisingly, the red-haired monster falls first. The battle halts. Alice stands amidst the ruins, bewildered by this sudden turn of events. No time to rest. A fresh wave of monsters approaches, plunging Alice back into despair. Suddenly, the masked man strikes, slashing the enemy down. Alice realizes he's on their side. Cyan realizes the enemies are being lured, swarming towards the princess like moths to a flame. Pinpointing the princess's necklace as the bait, Cyan commands his shadows to move. He activates his mist domain, seizing control of the battlefield to crush the opposition. The masked man slaughters the enemies, but his brutal power terrifies the very people he's saving. Cyan moves like a phantom, his black mist devouring every puppet in his path. Silence falls. The monsters are obliterated, leaving the survivors trembling at the masked stranger. Lunov turns around, terrified to find the deathly masked figure standing right behind her. Cyan grabs Lunov, triggering panic among the guards, but she senses something strangely familiar. Misunderstanding his intent, the guards attack Cyan to save the girls, reigniting the chaos. Red mist explodes, and the assassin lunges at Lunov with a blade. The silver-haired girl screams in despair it's too late. She blasts him with lightning, but he dissolves into mist, unharmed, leaving behind an eerie whisper, "I won't hurt you." The masked man shattered the gem to lure the monsters away. The princess stares at her brother's gift in horror. This caused it all? Suppressing her curiosity about the mystery man, the princess checks on Alice and Lunov. Seeing they're safe, she orders an immediate retreat. Cut to elsewhere. A massive beast roars and charges, but the small figure doesn't flinch, blasting it into oblivion with purple energy. Brian clutches Emily, sweating bullets as he stares at the berserk Nana. This isn't a maid, he stammers, it's a monster. Cyan stands amidst the purple storm, his gaze sharp. The chaos isn't over yet. The real trouble is just beginning. Flashback to that horrific night, demons running wild under a blood-red sky. This was the infamous Blood Banquet massacre. Rumors pin the blame on the princess, claiming she used the day's stone necklace to summon the beasts and seize power. The sickening irony? The real mastermind Cyan's older brother is hailed as the Empire's hero, basking in the people's applause. Under the night sky, Kerem mocks Cyan, sacrificing their own kind for profit. Humans are worse than demons. Cyan scoffs at his own past but stands up, ready to move. He has to leave immediately. Nana is waiting for him. His subordinate stops him, her expression serious. "That maid, Emily. I noticed something strange about her." Cyan's face drops. She tells him Emily reeks of the day's stone. That means she's a walking lure for monsters right now. Sure enough, Nana has lost it. Drawn by the scent, she sees Emily as food. Emily screams, "I'm not tasty at all." Nana floats, horns sprouting and purple energy swirling. She's gone full demon. Brian realizes she truly intends to devour Emily. Brian screams internally, "Stop her!" But his hand trembles. He can't bring himself to strike Nana, who used to protect them. Hesitation is fatal. The berserk Nana roars, "Give her to me," and slams into Brian. He collapses, screaming in despair. Just as chaos peaks, a terrifying purple shockwave sweeps the room, knocking everyone off their feet. Absolute power. Cyan cuts through like lightning. Using the shockwave as cover, he snatches the item, causing Nana's rage and smirks. Found it. As Askel's plan crumbles, his subordinates panic. The black-haired woman snaps, tearing apart the token from her master, leaving the blonde man screaming at her insanity. Back at the center of chaos, Cyan yells at the unconscious Nana, calling himself her favorite papa to wake her. She struggles to open her eyes amidst the purple residue, weakly murmuring "Papa." Regaining consciousness, Nana is terrified seeing Cyan covered in blood. She trembles, asking if she hurt him. Cyan turns his tattered back to her, gently assuring her it's all right. Wiping cold sweat, he forces a smile, lying that it doesn't hurt a bit. Seeing Nana weeping in the ruins, Cyan rushes to assure her she did nothing wrong. Knight Brian arrives with Emily, jaw-dropping at the fallen beast and ruins. Seeing Cyan and Nana safe, he quickly escorts them away from this mess. Meanwhile, Prince Ronald stares blankly at the empty hall. The army of demonic beasts he arranged is gone, completely derailing his script of destruction. As the main force arrives, Ronald instantly switches to a relieved expression, reporting the crisis averted. Beside him, Askel narrows his eyes, sensing something off about this calm. Suddenly, the Emperor hears a familiar cry. Princess Erin sprints towards him, weeping and throwing herself into his arms, stunning everyone with the emotional reunion. Innocent Erin then tightly hugs Prince Ronald, relieved her brother is safe. Seeing her genuine tears, Ronald's smile looks incredibly stiff and fake. Hearing praise for the princess, Askel sneers under his mask. He mutters what fortune, but his eyes are filled with the malice of a failed assassination. The Emperor holds his reclaimed daughter close, thanking her protectors. Despite the polite words, the chill in his eyes says this isn't over. Before Erin can calm down, she notices her father and Askel whispering. The serious, oppressive atmosphere makes her instinctively uneasy. The trap springs. Ronald suddenly accuses Lunav of being the mastermind, ordering her immediate arrest to shift the blame entirely onto her. Erin panics, screaming that Lunav saved them, but gets scolded for insolence. Guards draw swords, instantly turning the warm reunion into a tense standoff. Ronald ignores all logic, insisting on the enemy nation's motive and fabricating evidence. Lunav trembles with rage, demanding to see actual proof. Turns out the royals were already surveilling Lunav, making things worse. Ronald righteously promises to find hard evidence, actually planning to seal the frame-up. Askel volunteers to take over the investigation, and his father agrees. But as he turns, he frowns, suspecting this all went too smoothly like a massive trap. In the end, Lunav is thrown into a dark cell, a victim of political struggle. Behind bars, she wonders agonizingly if this too is part of her grandfather's plan. A grand state funeral follows, mourning the nobles lost in the banquet of blood. Though casualties were high, Cyan knows he saved many compared to his past life. With the chaos settled, Alice carefully bandages Cyan's arm. Seeing him try to act tough, she bossily silences him, her eyes filled with heartache and adoration. The purple-haired girl gently bandages Cyan, relieved he escaped. Cyan, sweating and shaken, admits he ran as if his life depended on it. She recalls the masked mystery man, realizing his build matches Cyan's. She teases him about bulking up, sending a wave of panic through him. The mood shifts as she reaches out to touch his muscles. Cyan flusters instantly, retreating in shy panic, a stark contrast to his usual cool demeanor. Askel, the two-faced brother, leans in with a fake smile, claiming he's jealous of their bond. Cyan bows his head submissively, but the air is thick with tension. The moment Askel leaves, her gaze sharpens. She senses the hidden hostility, while Cyan knows for a fact his brother has deadly intentions. A breakthrough. They find a bracelet embedded with a dazed stone in Luna's lodge. A critical piece of evidence pointing to mind control. Askel plays detective, asking about suspicious gifts. Cyan watches silently from the side, seeing right through his brother's theatrical performance. Bad news. The merchant who gave the gift is dead. Askel glares coldly at the girl, his pressure tactics implying she could be the next loose end. She refuses to be intimidated. Calling out his investigation as a scapegoat hunt, she turns on her heel and walks away with defiant swagger. Chapter 38 Cover. The reborn assassin stands resolute. The path of revenge is thorny, but he is ready to slaughter his way through. Back to the confrontation, the gloves come off. She sneers at Askel, exposing his scapegoating scheme with biting sarcasm. In the bedroom, Sister Alice frantically tends to a weak Cyan. Seeing her brother injured breaks her heart, and she insists he rest immediately. Askel lingers at the door, feigning concern to check if Cyan is truly incapacitated. Alice is terrified, unaware the real monster is standing right there. The door shuts, and the masks fall. Askel thinks he's safe, while Cyan's eyes turn icy cold. Too bad, brother. I almost killed you right there. Cyan recalls their childhood. Alice's love was always rough and aggressive. Despite the choking, he knows she's always tried to protect him. In a dark dungeon, Emily is beaten and bloody, begging on her knees. She cries that she only followed orders, unaware she's already been discarded. The ruthless killer offers no mercy. You played your part, he says coldly. To him, her desperate pleas are nothing but noise before the end. The blade strikes. The screaming stops. The killer looks down at Emily's lifeless body, offers a hollow rest and peace, and walks away. He stops mid-stride. A smirk creeps onto his face as he remembers something forgotten. The silence grows heavier, signaling a new horror. Having dealt with the troublesome corpse, Cyan calmly feeds the remaining evidence to his summon. For him, this bloodshed is just another Tuesday. Cleanup complete, Cyan strides away. The scene shifts to a peaceful outdoor spot, where someone seems to be waiting. Meanwhile, Brian the Knight cheerfully hands apples to Emily. Hiding out here, the atmosphere is surprisingly warm and healing. They munch on apples, enjoying the rare peace. They don't know how long they must hide, but if it's the young master's order, they'll wait. A flashback reveals why they're hiding. Cyan crushed that eerie red crystal earlier, a deadly gift from his brother Askel. Realizing the mansion was compromised, Cyan immediately ordered Emily to hide, while Brian cradled a weak and injured Nana. Cyan entrusted his most important people to Brian, gently wiping away Nana's tears. In this moment, his eyes were full of heartache. Back in the present, remembering Cyan's desperate expression, Brian clenches his fist. He swears he'll be useful this time. Nearby, Leximus the Sword Saint wakes up. Knowing Nana is a dragon hybrid doesn't scare her. It only makes her want to protect the child more. Though traumatic battle memories flash through her mind, she shakes them off and smiles brightly. For the young master, she'll give it her all. Cut to the palace, where the atmosphere freezes. Prince Ronal is screaming at his father, sweating profusely, clearly backed into a corner. The prince yells about having evidence to make arrests. But the emperor coldly tells him to shut his mouth, his gaze heavy with oppression. The prince calls his dad weak. Big mistake. A flash of gold energy sends the insolent fool flying across the room. The emperor points to the map, schooling his foolish son. Blind war only invites demons. It's not weakness, it's strategy, get it? Their ideologies clash perfectly. The prince screams for domination, calling the emperor a monster. The emperor retorts that sacrificing people for power makes him the monster. The emperor drops the bomb, revealing he knows about the prince's plot with the mist stone. The old man sees right through his petty schemes. The prince stammers in terror, trying to deny it. The emperor sighs in disappointment. This foolish son is beyond saving. The final verdict: get out. The emperor states Princess Erin is far superior. The prince is banished on the spot, his ego completely shattered. Kicked out, the prince's face twists in agony, blaming everything on Erin. That look in his eyes is pure, murderous rage. He storms past the guards like a madman, ignoring everyone. Great, a rabid dog is on the loose. Trouble is definitely brewing. The unhinged brother Ronald goes on a rampage, smashing the pink-haired boy aside while screaming at him to move. He stands over his bleeding victim, looking down with cold contempt, as if observing a mere insect he just crushed. He's completely lost it, face twisted in maniacal laughter as he raves about his precious little sister. It's absolutely chilling. Back at the palace, Chapter 39 begins. Cyan confronts his brother, but Ronald instantly presses a blade to his throat, laughing menacingly. Despite the cold sweat, Cyan doesn't flinch. He grits his teeth and warns, "Touch Princess Erin, and you're finished." Ronald freezes in shock. Cyan lays his cards on the table, refusing to be a bystander. Ronald's eyes glow with blue rage as he spits out the word, "worm." Ronald threatens to wipe Cyan out, so Cyan instantly feigns terror to play the victim. Erin steps in coldly to interrupt the madness. Erin watches in shock, her mind racing. Is this assertive guy really the weak Cyan she knew? He's completely changed. Scene shift. Standing before the Duke, Cyan lies without flinching. "I didn't receive that necklace from Brother Ronald." The Duke reveals the dark truth. The necklace held a dazed stone, a forbidden artifact used to control demonic beasts. The stone links back to the despised Black Blood kin. The Duke suspects someone within the capital is secretly smuggling these dangerous items. The middlemen are either missing or dead, silencing all leads. Yet, every clue subtly points toward Brother Ronald. The Duke presses hard. "Are you sure it wasn't Ronald?" Cyan clenches his fist, suppresses the truth, and denies it again. "No." Having cleared the suspicion, Cyan plays his hand, "Release Lunav." The Duke agrees. Cyan knows it's not the right time to expose his brother yet. Outside, Cyan's gaze turns icy. If alerted, Ronald will just hide and strike from the shadows. Cyan decides to end this personally. In the shadows, the brothers confront each other. Ronald plays along with the lie. "Correct, I gave you nothing." Danger averted, Ronald gets cocky again, criticizing Cyan's attitude and threatening to silence his servant. Princess Erin snaps, stepping up to defend them. "He is important to me." The servant, nearby, quickly bows an apology. Erin suddenly realizes the brown-haired guy was hiding there the whole time. He shamelessly smirks. "Oops, I overheard accidentally." Serica catches him red-handed. He tries to play the lack of presence card, but her sharp gaze cuts right through his excuse. The air turns cold. Serica threatens him, but Sion snaps back with a bloodthirsty grin, challenging her to try and silence him. Serica calculates the risks. Connecting the dots between his lineage and power, she realizes making an enemy of Sion Vert would be a fatal mistake. Political shadows. Ronald questions Askel's motive for targeting his own brother. Askel's eyes go cold. He knows Sion is an anomaly that must be purged. The mere thought of Sion's hidden strength infuriates Askel. He realizes his brother is a variable that defies all logic. He flexes his aura, crushing her under sheer pressure before casually waving it off as a joke. The power gap is terrifying. The Mad Emperor sits atop a throne of skulls. Sion notes that, terrifying as he is, he's surprisingly sane compared to his past life's version. Sion plays the Intimidator perfectly, warning them to watch their backs. The moment the door clicks shut, he exhales sharply, dropping the act. Princess Erin turns beet red, frantically deflecting praise while Sion sits there, completely oblivious to her flustered panic. She makes a lame excuse about sore legs just to stay close. Sion remains hopelessly dense, while the bystander marvels at his inability to take a hint. Mission accomplished, Sion makes a cool exit, assuring them they're safe. He leaves Erin swooning, and the others baffled by his efficiency. Panic in the enemy camp. The plan has imploded, and the purple-haired woman screams at her partner, demanding answers for their failure. Total meltdown. Their targets are alive, and their status is ruined. The golden boy stares into space, unable to process his catastrophic defeat. While she rages against the Empire, the man regains his composure. He claims the failure wasn't total and finally introduces himself, Boris Ruhelm. The cloaked spy finally shows up. Boris demands to know where he's been and if he found the hiding maid, Emily. Smirking, the spy holds up a glowing card. He mocks their panic, revealing that they severely underestimated Erin's entourage. He presents a crystal pulsing with gathered mana. Most of it is ordinary, but deep inside, something darker swirls. Upon closer inspection, the atmosphere shifts. The mana isn't just rare, it's vile, ancient, and undeniably evil. The horrifying truth drops. Someone in the princess's group wields a demon blade. Green eyes flash in the dark, confirming the lethal threat. A gruesome vision flashes a body impaled by black spikes, purple blood splattering everywhere. The demon blade's power is absolute and terrifying. Sion stares at the food in disbelief. It looks like a hideous purple monster, but Nana is happily munching away. The dish is literally moving. Even the spy hiding nearby is freaked out, but Nana wipes the plate clean in seconds. Meanwhile, the double agent Kellen is terrified. He refuses to stay a second longer, fearing Askell will catch him. Kellen rushes out into the danger. Alice waves goodbye, hoping he stays safe in this deadly game. Back inside, Sion hands command over to Brian. Brian accepts, but the tension in the room suddenly spikes. Boom! The door explodes inward. Sion steps through the debris, mocking the intruder. You look a bit too relaxed, don't you? The purple-haired assassin is furious, demanding answers. How did you know about the blood banquet? And my fiancé's death? Sion's gaze turns icy. He warns him, watch your words. Depending on your answer, I may become your enemy. The intruder demands a name. Sion smirks and drops his identity cold. Sion Vert. The assassin is obsessed with the past, screaming about the blood banquet and his lost lover with pure hatred. Sion replies coldly, that death was a necessary purification. His indifference only fuels the assassin's rage. Are you a spy? What if I am? Talk is over. Purple and red energy erupts instantly. They collide in midair. Amidst the smoke, a protective voice warns, you never learn, do you? Don't touch my master. The assassin gloats, thinking he's won. But the girl on the ground just looks annoyed. You're really irritating, you know that? The assassin laughs maniacally, charging up a massive purple orb. Let me show you something interesting. Black mist power unleashed. A beam of red light obliterates the landscape. This power could level a city. Staring at the massive crater, the assassin trembles. One hit would mean instant death. Is this the power of Karam? The smoke clears, and the girl clicks her tongue. Damn, I missed. A city-destroying blast, and she's just annoyed she missed? Sion grins, right. The opponent isn't scared, she's thrilled. I'm getting fired up. Demon sword control, full power. The purple-haired leader crashes down, stomping the enemy into the dirt. As the guy screams he was just getting started, Sion watches the chaos, shaking his head at the idiots. Just as Serica organizes the cleanup, Sion calls from the window, ordering them to handle it. Suddenly, the door explodes inward as Serica storms in with terrifying momentum. With the fight over outside, Sion sighs, realizing the plan is ruined. He orders everyone to pack up, then fixes a sharp gaze on the intruder standing before him. Brian apologizes for the breach, leaving Cyan shocked that his barriers failed. Luna, the silver-haired prodigy, just props her chin up and smirks, claiming it's her unique talent. Cyan demands to know why she's here. To his confusion, Luna simply thanks him. When he asks what for, she gives him a knowing look, implying she's figured it all out. Luna drops a bombshell about him entering her body that day, shocking the girls into silence. Cyan freezes, realizing she's talking about the mana transfer, not something scandalous. Luna opens her hand, displaying magic of every element. She reveals she can combine them at will, using this power to track specific mana signatures. Cyan coldly calls his power a curse, and points out her body was broken. Flustered, Luna confronts him, demanding to know if he was the one who saved her. Annoyed by the group whispering behind his back, Cyan snaps at them to quiet down. With his cover blown, he orders an immediate move to Lewin Academy. Hearing she can stay with Brian, the fangirl explodes with joy, lost in a romantic fantasy. Brian stands there with a deadpan look, dreading the headache to come. Flashbacks reveal a cold laboratory, where a young Luna floats in a tank like a specimen. Enduring endless experiments, her eyes are filled with utter despair. Her grandfather once crushed her with talk of duty. Yet on the bridge, when she asks Cyan if he bears a similar burden, he casually replies that he doesn't. Luna asks why he saved her anonymously. She stares at the crimson mana in her hand, confused. It looks like darkness, yet feels completely different. Cyan realizes she read his data back at the restaurant. When he fainted that day, she touched the mana he poured into her and discovered his deepest secret. Luna stares at the otherworldly mana, confused. Cyan's expression turns cold as he confronts her. Now that she knows, will she run to tell her grandfather? Luna crushes the mana in her hand, scoffing that snitching is too much hassle. Cyan smirks, realizing she's just as rebellious against authority as he is. Resting on his back, she whispers a thank you. Her body had been like a boiling pot, with chaotic mana clashing violently inside her until he arrived. Trying to seal the mana, they forced a lid on the pot. But the pressure built up until it exploded, burning her life force and pushing her to the brink of death. Cyan says he just poked a hole in the lid, hating to see someone treated like a puppet. Luna lowers her head, quietly asking him to keep her secret too. Cyan awkwardly warns her not to overdo it again. Watching him walk away, Luna thinks he's cute, while Cyan silently admits she's actually a decent person. Cut to the Garum Association. The president explodes in fury, slamming his fist onto the desk. His assistant tries to downplay the situation, suggesting a petition since there were no complaints, but the old man cuts him off instantly. That's not the point. The old man is frantic and beyond reasoning. Obsessed with his granddaughter's safety, he screams out a desperate command. Luna has to stop somewhere. Find her and bring her back here immediately.